All right, good morning, everybody. I'm sorry for the slightly late start time today. There's been quite a lot of new developments. As I'm sure you are aware, there's been a new release from MOE about school reopening as scheduled on the 23rd of March. All right, good morning. I see some of you already logged on. As I was saying, it's been a pretty busy morning. There have been quite a lot of new developments. As you all know, because of the spike in cases of COVID-19 in our country as well as in the neighboring and international stage, we have seen some new developments, right? So as of today, the Ministry of Education has released a press release or an official statement stating that anybody who has traveled out of Singapore during the March holidays will have to observe a 14-day stay-at-home leave of absence from school, starting from the day when they've returned to Singapore. So at this point in time, it looks as if all countries are affected, so including Malaysia. So those of you who may have made short trips to Malaysia, you will need to stand by and wait for further instructions as to what is going to happen and whether you'll be on a leave of absence. Okay. Yes, hello. Okay, so some of you are already online. Glad that you could join me. I understand from some of you that your CCAs have been cancelled or postponed because of the COVID-19 situation worsening, right? So maybe in the chat group, you can let me know if your CCA was one of those affected. I know volleyball is affected, all right? Let me know if any of the other CCAs were affected. I think Ku Zheng had your last practice on Wednesday, so I don't think you're affected today. I think volleyball is. I'm not too sure if there are any other CCAs affected. But anyways, the good thing about online learning and about having our lessons online is that we don't really have to worry about social distancing and COVID-19 because technology allows us to interact with one another without the dangers of physical contact. So aren't you glad that we have this channel and that we are familiar enough with it that we are able to just conduct lessons quickly and effectively on this platform? All right. Oh, hello. Okay. All right, Jared, I hope you get well soon. It's just a slight cough, I'm sure, nothing to worry about. The good thing about COVID-19 is that all the research and all of the cases seem to point toward the fact that it does not affect children very badly, right? It looks like most vulnerable people group at this point in time are the elderly. They, as well as those with medical conditions, those with pre-existing respiratory or breathing difficulties will struggle with COVID-19. But it looks like it is not really affecting children very badly. But then again, this is what I've observed. I'm not a doctor, so please don't quote me or take my word for it. Okay, wow, all right. It's quite a good attendance this morning as well. Wonderful to see everybody up and about. It's not really very early, but it's good to see everybody up and about and kind of ready to participate in this lesson. I'm going to give the rest another couple of minutes to log in. So if you have any questions from yesterday, or if you're looking in and you didn't watch yesterday's session, please take a minute to review the Edmodo posts, right? So just to orientate you, everything that I go through on this video today will be posted on Edmodo, including the video itself, as well as any materials, PowerPoint slides, and assignments that I'll be giving to you. It'll all be on Edmodo. So please make sure you can log on to Edmodo. Hi. Right, and also make sure that you review yesterday's materials so that you can build on it, right? So today I'm going to be building on what we've covered yesterday, and for those of you who were not around yesterday, we talked about show not tell. Okay, so I'm going to go very shortly into a quick review session on what we are going to cover today and also what we covered yesterday, right? Thank you all for being early. I'm so happy to see all of you, and remember that these videos are private, so please don't be sharing them around unless you've asked for my permission. I'm very happy to see some kids here from 4A. 2 years ago, it was great to see you, right? Jia En, it's good to see you again. Yesterday we had Javen joining us. So it's always nice to see some familiar faces, and you're always welcome, right? And remember, if you have any questions, if you want to participate in the activities or the assignments that I've given, please drop me a message and I will send the materials over to you. But I don't want to overload you because you will have your own work from your own teacher in the other class. So I'll leave it up to you. Okay, you can decide whether you want extra practice or not. Okay, hello, Charlene. All right, so those of you who aren't able to log on to YouTube to participate in the chat, like I said, you can always reach me on WhatsApp. I'll be a little bit slower checking WhatsApp, but I promise you that today I will be a bit faster and I will keep updated. Right? I know that, for example, Alison was messaging through WhatsApp yesterday, and I'm very sorry if I only saw your responses much later, but today I'll be a little bit more alert in checking WhatsApp. So you can always get me on the phone, and you can get me on YouTube as well. Please do not send any messages to Edmodo because I will not be able to check more than 2 platforms, and the 2 platforms I've chosen are WhatsApp as well as YouTube live stream chat. Okay, so glad to hear everybody online. Okay, let's see. Okay, some of you who have just joined the chat, please check with your parents if you've traveled in the last couple of days to Malaysia especially. If you have, please drop me a message and let me know so that I can check with the office whether you need to be on a leave of absence. Okay, right. Mm, mm, right. Right, so I know that some of you may have traveled, and you may be wondering about what are the arrangements that need to be made. Don't worry, in the event that you are on a leave of absence, all the arrangements for work, lessons will be made so that you are accommodated and you will not have to catch up on too much materials when you get back to school. Okay, but I think that's the minority. Most of you did not travel, if I'm correct. Maybe just a quick kind of a survey on those of you who are on this live stream now. Anybody here on this live stream traveled during the March holidays to Malaysia? If you have, can you please give me a yes? If not, then can those of you who are listening in please type in I have not been overseas, right? Just so that I can see that you're logged on and also that you have not traveled during this March holiday, right? Go ahead and type your responses into the YouTube live stream chat or onto WhatsApp, and then I will confirm it. And after we've done that round of responses, I will begin the video very shortly. All right, okay. Wonderful, I'm seeing your responses, great. Okay, Jared, no, you do not need to be on a leave of absence. If you have a slight cough, there's no need. Just go see a doctor, and if you need a medical certificate, go get one. That should cover you for a couple of days, but you will not be on leave of absence, okay? If you're unwell, everybody, I just want to emphasize, please see a doctor, right? And if necessary, get a medical leave so that you can stay home and recover, okay? All right, very good. Okay, not been overseas. All right, very good. All right, if you've already seen a doctor, Jared, then that's fine. Okay, that's great. All right, everybody. Okay, yes, Siting, I've already spoken to your mom about this, so don't worry. We are checking with the office, and I'll let you know if you need to be on a leave of absence. But thank you for checking in as well. Excellent. All right, so good morning, everybody. Today we are going to get started on the second part of our writing review, and I may do a third part depending on whether you all think it's necessary. All right, I would like to do a third part, so it's either going to be a live stream or it's going to be a pre-recorded video. I'd like to make it a 3-part review. So today I'm going to be carrying on from what we did yesterday, which was show not tell. I'm going to use some elements of show not tell in today's lesson. It's going to be hopefully a lot shorter and a lot more compact in nature. And I'll give you all some time to practice as usual. I was going to incorporate some games, but I realized that the time is a little short. So I might do games as a separate activity on Edmodo. So stay tuned on Edmodo to some quizzes and games that I'll be posting separate to the live stream. All right. Okay, let's see. All right, so today we are going to be covering a strategy that you may already be familiar with called STAR. All right, and I'll go through STAR. It's an acronym. It's very similar to cups and arms. If you all remember in primary 3 and 4, we did editing and revising, cups and arms. All right, it's very similar to that, but it's kind of like a more condensed version of cups and arms. I've kind of combined it together. Okay, so without further ado, let's do a quick review of what we covered yesterday in Show Not Tell. Okay, so remember we talked about two major groups of words yesterday, verbs and nouns, and we talked about how using better verbs and proper nouns and adjectives and adverbs to describe them would color and make your text more vivid. All right, so we talked about first using verbs and adverbs combined together in order to make your sentence show and not tell the reader what your character is feeling. So in this case, right, we talked about some examples about Jane feeling angry. We talked about how she gritted her teeth, stamped her foot, right? We talked about how she shook her fist, right? All of these were descriptive phrases, adverbs, right? Present participle, right? Gritting her teeth, that helped us to describe the character's feelings without actually telling the reader, right? So we looked at how the use of the present participle snarling, the use of adverb ferociously and tightly, and the use of higher and better verbs like clenched and stamped were more effective in conveying the descriptive detail of the character's feelings. Okay? Then, in addition to verbs, we also talked about the use of proper nouns and adjectives to further enhance the descriptive detail, right? I talked about how instead of telling your readers that something is beautiful, you can instead give details that allow the reader to arrive at that conclusion that the object or the character or the animal is beautiful, right? I talked about a golden retriever having soft, silky fur, the color of burnished gold, remember that? And its hazelnut eyes shone with intelligence and affection, okay? So proper nouns combined effectively with adjectives, and I believe some of you actually chained the adjectives together, right? Soft, silky fur. Some of you chained your adjectives together to form combinations. Those are very effective as well in carrying details about a particular character or an object that allows your reader to infer its quality. In this case, the quality of beauty. And we also practiced on a pencil case. Remember, we talked about the pencil case, the Smiggle pencil case. All right. Okay, so this was what we covered yesterday, Show Not Tell, and we're going to use some of this today in our strategy STAR, okay? Because in order to apply STAR, you do need to, in some sense, be aware of how to show, not tell, so that you can more effectively expand on your writing to make it better and more descriptive and more effective in this case, conveying the story, all right? So let's move on. Today's lesson, I'm going to introduce you to oh, I'm sorry, before that, okay, let's take a look at this, okay? Body actions chart, right? Yesterday, I didn't have time to cover this. I was talking about how we can substitute certain very common words like look, like jumped, like saw, right? With better and more descriptive verbs like stared, gazed, glanced, winked, right? And this is a summary. You look at the body actions chart, you find that there are many different actions that different parts of your body can perform that can give the reader some idea of how your character is feeling. So I would like all of you now, okay, to construct a sentence using one of the words available on this chart to show an emotion without telling me, and let's see if we can kind of guess, or I can guess the emotion that you are trying to convey with your use of that particular action, that particular verb. Okay, so in the example I've given you, it says he bounced up the path, giggling with glee. So bounced up the path, so I'm using my legs, my feet, I'm bouncing, right? Instead of walking, I'm bouncing, right? And instead of laughing, I'm giggling, all right? So I'm giggling, right? So these two verbs give me the idea that a person is extremely happy. So I'm combining two different descriptive verbs to show an inner emotional state. In this case, happiness, right? So why don't you all give it a try now, like what we did yesterday, construct the sentence. Okay, I'll give you a couple of minutes, 2 minutes to be precise. Okay, let's see if I can use a timer here, right? And I'll just set a limit for 2 minutes. Okay. Right. Okay, Shaden, that's a very good effort. Jane hunched her shoulders, sniffing on her way back home, tearing inconsolably. Okay, very good. Right. So I'm assuming that this is sadness. Very good. Well done, Shaden. All right. Tearing inconsolably. Right. Jia-en, he stared at his lap, his eyes filled with tears. Very good. So stared at his lap, his eyes filled with tears. Simple, to the point, and also effective. Very good. So I love the contrast between your answer and Shaden's answer. Both are equally effective, but in different ways, right? So Shaden has used a lot of elaborate phrases. Jia-en has kept it simple, but it achieves the purpose of conveying sadness. Very good. He wandered around the neighborhood. Wandered, very good. Instead of walked, he wandered, right, without any purpose, yawning widely. I'm assuming that's boredom. Very good, John. I love that too. Okay, the yawning gives the idea that it's boredom. The wandering without any purpose. Very good. Well done. The rest of you, why don't you contribute? And let's see what you have. All right. Jen skipped down the path, bouncing with happiness. Very good. That's happiness. Skipped and bounced. Very good. Straining her ears. Jane tried to listen to her teacher with much struggle. So straining her ears. Very good. So the idea that struggling to pay attention, right? Struggling. Very good. Sam hunched his shoulders, yawning widely. Okay, that's boredom as well. Very good. Jim stomped to his room, grumbling ferociously. Very good. So that's the idea of anger. Wonderful. Okay. I bounced up and down when I heard I won the competition. So bounced up and down. Very happy. Very good. Yes. Jane leaned on Jaden. Okay, Jaden. Welcome, Jaden. Jane leaned on her mother's shoulder, feeling full of sorrow and regret. So lean on her mother's shoulders. Okay. So yeah, sadness. Okay, a sense of just not being able to stand on your own strength. Very good. Well done. Okay, so very good examples, everybody. Very well attempted. Good job. Let me just give a few more examples, some chances to come in, and then I will move on. Right. Okay, stamped my foot with anger, glancing at my unfair hair. So that idea about frustration, anger, okay. Yep, okay, very good. So the idea that you can use different body parts to express feelings should not be new to you, but this chart, this summary should give you more ideas about how you can use these words more effectively. Jack shivered as he heard the madman's delirious laughter. Okay, shivered, okay. Sighed with despair, glancing through the peephole. When was he going to get out of this living hell? Okay, wonderful. That's great. That means fear, right? That's this idea about extreme fear. A lot of detail, a lot of description. Wonderful. Even gives me some context. Good job, Chun Hong. Sniffing, tears escape from my eyes. So sniffing, right? Sadness, all right? Tears escaping from your eyes. Okay, very good. Bob dashed towards the Christmas tree, tearing open the beautifully wrapped present with white. So this idea about anticipation, about happiness, about really looking forward to opening the presents. Very good, Charlene. That's a good attempt. Kaylin as well. Well done. Okay, very good. All right. Thank you all for giving it a try. I really love the fact that you're using what you're observing from the video and not just passively taking it in. Because remember, the more you apply, the more you use, the more it becomes a part of you, and the more you're going to be able to summon it up, right, when you really need it. And these words are quite helpful. So take a look at them. Try to memorize or internalize a few of each so that you have a repertoire or a group of words that you can always call on to use in situations where you don't have access to a dictionary. For example, an exam, right? So in an exam, if you have this committed to memory, you'll be able to use it. And remember, the marker in an exam is not Mr. Pang. So that person will be seeing your writing for the very first time, and they'll be impressed that you can recall these words, even though you've been using them repeatedly for different compositions, okay? And these are words that you can use repeatedly for different compositions. All right. Okay, no worries, Jancis, welcome. I'm glad you could join us at this time. Okay, anyway, just to summarize on behalf of those who've just joined us, we are looking at STAR, right? We are looking at show not tell today, just a continuation, and how show not tell feeds into the acronym STAR and how we can use it to write better compositions. We were ending yesterday's bit, which I wasn't able to complete with this activity, and today I'm going to start on a new strategy, STAR, right? So before I begin, I'm sure y'all can kind of remember cups and arms, right? It was for editing and revising. It's similar to that, all right? It's very similar. It's just that some of cups and arms have been combined together into this acronym called STAR, S-T-A-R, which is today's lesson, all right? So the acronym STAR stands for substitute, which is to replace words with better ones. Take away, which is to remove redundant or extra words that are not fulfilling a function but interfering with the flow of your story. Adding words, right? Missing words that could give your story more detail and more action and more effectiveness as a story you can add. And finally, rearrangement, right? So there are certain parts of your story that as you are writing you might realize actually fit better in a different position, or even sentences that could be rearranged to make your reading more smooth, more flowing, more effective. Okay, so these four letters S, T, A, and R are quite effective in improving your writing, both at the point as you're writing as well as after you're writing, revising to make sure that you have these in place. Okay, so it's a very good strategy to remember STAR. Again, substitute, take away, add, and rearrange. Substitute, take away, add, and rearrange. Okay, I'm going to go through them one at a time, and I'm going to show you how I develop just a couple of sentences as I go through the STAR process, and you'll see how that small short extract can develop and grow. And I want to challenge you to use this strategy in your own writing as well, right? Be very conscious, have it at the back of your mind, and as you're writing, use the STAR acronym, all right? So the first one is substitute, right? I think you are not unfamiliar with this. It's kind of like replace in the arms, right? ARMS, remember? Cups and arms, right? It's kind of like replace. Substitute is very similar to that. And that simply means I replace certain very common verbs, nouns, adjectives, or adverbs with more advanced or descriptive or powerful or effective ones. Okay? So let's take a look at this. Okay? Very quickly, look at this sentence. He told the boys to put their things in the room. Then he shouted at them for being slow. Then he looked at them angrily. Okay, so can you all just do a very quick shout out in the live stream or in the chat? What do you think are some of the words that can be replaced from these two sentences? Okay, I'll give you some time to respond. Just type in some words from these three sentences that you think can be replaced. Don't tell me what to replace, but just replace, Jared, not cancel, but replace. Okay, just go ahead. then shouted, slow, angrily, yes, okay, yes, 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 told, shouted, looked, yes, told, shouted, angrily, very good, yes, yes, I agree. All of the above are very common words that are very basic, right? You'll realize that these are words that we've been using since primary 1 or even earlier. And these are not words that you would expect a primary 6 graduating student ready for secondary school to be using regularly, right? So yes, that's right. What would I then substitute or replace these words with? Well, okay, let me just go on to the next one and show you. You're all right. Okay, these are all words that I would replace or substitute. Okay, um, uh, can you all, okay, yes, very good. Okay, told, put, shouted, look, angry. Yeah, so all of them are words that I will replace. What is the tool that we generally use when we want to look for words that are similar in meaning but are more advanced or more descriptive? Can anyone tell me what is the tool I would generally use? Not a dictionary, right? Because a dictionary just tells me definitions, phonetic pronunciations of words. But I want to look at alternative words, all right? Words that have the similar meaning or better meaning. Yes, very good, right? As Tzu Ting mentioned, it's a thesaurus, all right? Because a thesaurus, yes, thank you, Chun Hong. A thesaurus helps us to look at words that are synonymous, like Jared mentioned. A synonym is a word that is similar in meaning, but has a slightly different twist to it. Okay, very good. Right. So yes, Jack says synonymous or synonyms, right? So synonyms are words that we want to replace. And we don't just replace with any synonyms. We want to replace with synonyms or substitute with synonyms that are better, right? The key word here is when we substitute, it must be a better form of the word. And the better form of the word, better in what sense? Better in a sense that it is more descriptive, better in a sense that it is stronger, better in a sense that it is more suitable for usage in that particular paragraph or sentence. Okay? I'm going to show you an example of how I would replace. But before I did that, I want all of you now to try to type out this sentence in the chat window and replace these words. Replace them with words that you feel are better. Okay, so why don't you go ahead? I'll give you 2 minutes. Retype this sentence. The words are in red. I want you to only replace the words that are in red. Okay, so I say again, only replace the words that are in red with better words that would be more effective in this case. All right. Right, just checking that everything is okay. Okay, Jaxis, don't just write out the word, write out the entire sentence, but with those words in red replaced with more effective words. All right, let's see the kinds of sentences that you guys can come up with. All right. Right, the good thing about the live stream is that as you guys are writing out your answers, it's being captured by the system. And when you replay the video, you'll be able to see what some of these responses are. And the responses that you all come up with will definitely be better than the response that I can come up with, because 38, in this case 24 minds are better than one. So be creative, come up with some interesting variations, and we'll see and learn from each other. Okay? All right, Shaden, thank you for being so quick in the response. John as well. Commanded the boys to leave their equipment in the room. Equipment, very nice. I like belongings, very good. Okay. He snarled at them. Okay, yelled at them, very good. For being slow, for dawdling. Okay. John, the word dawdling is spelled wrongly. I will spell dawdling. There you go. Not dwaddling, dwalding, or dawdling. Yes, very good. Then he stared at them fiercely. Very good. Well done. Okay. Menacingly, very good. Stab daggers at them. Shaden, wonderful, good job. Right, snarled at the boys to pack their belongings in the room. Then he hollered at them, very good. Hollered for being sluggish. I like sluggish too. Dawdling, sluggish. Then he glared at them ferociously. Ferociously, good, good, good. Okay, no worries, Shaden. It's okay if you left one or two things out. He instructed, very good, Jensis, to place their belongings. Then he bellowed at them for dawdling, not being dawdling, but for dawdling, okay? It's not being dawdling, for dawdling. You don't use the word being with dawdling. Then he glared at them menacingly. Very good, Jensis. Jia En reminded the boys, okay? In this case, Jia En, I would object to using reminded because he is quite fierce, right? So I don't think he will be reminding them. He'll be like, you know, there has to be an element of fierceness, okay? Command, instruct would be better words than reminded, okay? Screamed at them for being lethargic. I love lethargic. Then he stared at them ferociously. Be careful of your spelling for ferociously, Jia En, but good job. Okay, he demanded the boys. So you demand that the boys place. So there's no to place. You don't use the word to, Charlene. So he demanded the boys place their belongings in the room. Then he yelled at them. Thank you for highlighting it with bold. For being sluggish. Then he glanced at them ferociously. Good, good. Okay. Informed. Again, Jaden, I wouldn't use the word informed because he's fierce, right? He's very angry. I wouldn't use the word informed or told because it's too weak. It has to be strong enough to convey the idea of anger, right? Ordered, very good. Then he yelled at them for being sluggish. He stared at them fiercely, very good. Jared ordered the boys, yes. Looked at them indignantly, very good. Indignantly is a very good word to use. Well done. Okay. Ask, no. Jaden Teo, I wouldn't use the word ask because ask is too weak. Remember I told you anger, right? Command, order, right? That's the kind of strength I need for the word to replace told, okay? Yes, beautiful, yes, great, right? So he demanded that they place their belongings, or he commanded them or ordered them to place their belongings, or, you know, he instructed them to place their belongings. All these are great words. Indignantly, furiously, menacingly, fiercely, ferociously, all are lovely descriptive adverbs that tell you how he was glaring at them, glared at them, right? Stared at them, right? Beautiful. Good, good, good. Okay, great. I love it. Okay, bellowed, equipment, belongings, right? Very good that you replace things with more specific things, all right? Yep. In fact, you can actually use compound nouns. What kind of equipment? You can even talk about what kind of equipment are they living in the room. That might be a possible extension too. Snarled at them, very good. Slow as a snail, that's a simile. Great, for being as slow as snails, right? More than one, so Jack says, as slow as snails. Glared at them ferociously, right? Jin Xian, yes. To place their belongings or put their belongings, you change put to fix. Don't use the word fix. I don't think it's suitable there. Okay. Glanced at them infuriatingly. The word infuriating is wrong because it's more like he is being infuriating. Cannot. It's more like he glared at them furiously. All right. Be careful of the form of the word. Bellowed is good though. Reese hollered, very good. Glared at them, very good. Kaylin demanded the boys. Remember, Kaylin, like I told Charlene, there's no to place. So he demanded the boys place their items. Items is good. Bellowed at them. Glared at them. Very good. Summoned the boys. Okay, that's interesting. He summoned the boys to place their stuff in the room. Right? So he imperiously summoned them. Situation possible. Then he hollered at them for being relaxed. I don't think relaxed is a strong enough word. So sluggish, lethargic, lazy, these are better words, okay? Use a stronger word. Then he glared at them furiously. Great. Wow. Lovely, lovely examples. I love the fact that you guys are really working with using different words. And you realize, right, boys and girls, as you're using these different words, you realize that the different words bring a slightly different feeling into what you're writing. Okay, and that's the point of it. When you use a thesaurus or when you come up with different words to substitute, right? To substitute, you're actually changing very slightly the kind of atmosphere of your writing. And good writers are able to adjust the atmosphere of their writing by selecting different shades of meaning or different words that carry different shades of meaning so that their writing accurately reflects the theme or the topic that they're writing about. Okay, so this is a skill that you kind of master over the lifetime, learning how to select and then use the appropriate word for the appropriate context. Okay, remember, context is king, right? So in this case, the context is a very angry person yelling at some boys. So using the correct word to carry the anger, the impatience, the fury of the character is very important. Okay, and also the boys. How did the boys react? Okay. Let's have a look then at what Mr. Pang has written. Okay, so here we go. So I used the word instructed. All right. I think some of you used better words. All right. I think you ordered, or I think that's stronger. Commanded the boys. So I think some of you have better words. But here's mine. He instructed the boys to deposit or to put their gym equipment. So remember, I talked about compound nouns. So it's not just equipment, but gym equipment in the room. Then he screeched at them. Screeched, like high-pitched yelling, right? Screeched at them for being tardy. Tardy is another word for lazy or slow. Right? Then he glared at them menacingly. All right, so a lot of you have done as well or better than me. So well done, right? But this is just an example. And remember, we've only gone through S out of STAR, right? But you can already see that the sentence has expanded substantially. All right, it's grown in size. So from a simple 3-line, it has become almost a paragraph. Okay, and let's go on. Let's go on to the next acronym. So we've substituted now, we've replaced with better words. Next one is to take away. So we're going to trim it, right? We're going to take away. Oh no, okay. Let me just okay, never mind, it's okay. Let me just adjust this for a while. I'm sorry, I don't know why the animation, I must have forgotten to put the animation. Okay, let's check that everybody else, all the others have animations up here. Okay, and up here. Okay, right, sorry about that. Okay, so this was what we worked on from substitute. So instructed the boys to deposit gym equipment. Then he screeched at them for being tardy. Then he glared at them menacingly. Right. So I'm sure you realize, as some of you already did in the earlier slide, that there are some repeated words, and that these repeated words kind of interfere with the flow of the story. So then he screeched at them. Then he glared at them. Can you all see that the then he repetitive sentence is boring and kind of disrupts the flow of the story? Okay, so therefore I want to replace or take away then he, right? Because it kind of interferes with the flow. It's repetitive, it doesn't add to the story, in fact it interferes. So I want to replace, okay, or rather in this case not even replace but take away entirely. I want to delete them. Okay, but I can't just delete them, then it won't make any sense. So he instructed the boys to deposit the gym equipment in a room, screeched at them. It doesn't work. Glared at them, it doesn't work. I've got to rewrite it. So when I take away words, I often have to replace or rewrite certain parts of the sentence so that it flows better. So in this case, how would I replace or rewrite these sentences in order that they can be better? And this is where what we learned in show not tell comes in, right? So remember we talked about present participle, right? In this case, then he screeched at them. If I don't want the then he, can I change the screeched into a form that allows it to start the sentence? That's where my present participle comes in, right? Can you all still remember what I'm talking about when I say present participle? If I look at then he screeched and I take away the then he and I want to start with screeched, I can't just say screeched at them for being tardy, right? I've got to change screeched into a different form. What might that form be? Why don't you all type that into your responses? Okay, Jaden. Oh, very good, Jaden Sim. He instructed the boys to place the necessities in the room. Necessities, very good. Hollered at them for being unhurried. Okay, unhurried is a bit weak. I would make it a bit stronger. For being tardy, sluggish, right? Those are better words. Then he stared at them threateningly. That's good. All right. Very good. All right, I'm seeing some responses already. Excellent. Yes, thank you. Jaden Sim as well. Excellent. Okay, So screeching, very good, screeching, right? So screeching at them for being tardy, right, is kind of hanging, right? So I have to combine the two sentences. Yes, that's right. So now the then he sentences have to be combined together. Because if I start with a present participle screeching, then I have to combine the first sentence with the second sentence, right? Screeching at them for being tardy, right? He glared at them menacingly, right? But I can expand it even further. So have a look now, very good, at what I did. Okay, so he instructed the boys to deposit their gym equipment in the room, screeching at them for being tardy. Again, like all of you mentioned, I changed screeched to screeching. I combined with a comma. I removed the then he, right? I removed the then he and then I replace it with a comma so that the two sentences now become one. So two sentences become one. I combine them. This is synthesis, right? So now you understand why it's important to learn synthesis, because synthesis gives us the tools to combine sentences in compositions so that the sentences don't just happen one after another without connection. Synthesis actually teaches us how to combine them to make them flow better. So screeching at them for being tardy, comma, right? He glared menacingly at them. So I shifted glared menacingly to the front, right? He glared menacingly at them. Or you can just leave it as he glared at them menacingly. But why did I shift the at them? Because at them, screeching at them, and then he glared at them, it's a bit boring. So I wanted some variety, so I moved at them. And this is actually rearranged, right? But that comes later, okay? But I've rearranged at them as well. Jen says, is adding a later after the okay? Okay. Let's see. Is adding a later after the he? Jen says, I'm not really sure what you mean. Maybe if you can type up the entire sentence with the word later in it so I can see if it's correct. I'm not really sure exactly what you mean by later after the he. Anyways, I don't think so because the both actions are happening at the same time. Screeching at them, he glared, right? So both are happening at almost the same time. I don't want to use the word later to break up the action. Okay, that would kind of break the flow of the sentence. Yes, correct. Jen says, no, I would not do that. Okay, I definitely would not put the word later because I want both actions to be happening at almost the same time. I don't want later. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Good question, well done. Okay, now we kind of have an idea about takeaway, right? If we have repetitive structures with repetitive connectors like then, we want to take away the then. And we want to replace it with present participles that link two sentences into one and make the flow of the sentences much more smooth, okay? Great. Now let's go on to the next one, which is add, all right? And this is quite simple. It's just putting in additional words, and this is show not tell, right? Basically, all of what we did yesterday comes under the word add, right? When I show and not tell, I'm adding additional verbs, adverbs, adjectives, nouns, proper nouns into the sentence to make it even more colorful, vivid. So this was what we ended up with after the S and the T processes. Now let's look at it to see what we can add, okay? And let's look at it, right? So he instructed the boys to deposit their gym equipment in the room. Screeching at them for being tardy, he glared menacingly at them. Okay, so I am concentrating on these highlighted words only. How can I add to these words in order to make them even more effective, right? So let's take a look at this. In the interest of time, I'm not going to ask you to do this, all right? I'm just going to show you the example of what I did for add. Is it okay if I carried on, or would you like to try adding to these words? Let's have a vote now. If you vote carry on, just type carry on. If you vote try it out, just type try it out. Let's see. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's tabulate the votes and see how many carry-ons and how many try-it-outs we have. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 carry-ons. Okay, let's see. 1 try-it-outs. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh dear. we have a tie. Let's see. The next person to vote will break the tie. We have 8 carry-ons and 8 try-outs after Kaylin. Can someone else vote who has not yet voted? Jared, did you vote earlier on? You already voted earlier on. Shaden, did you vote early on? You already voted early on. Okay, please, only those who have not yet voted will vote to break the tie. Let's remove this. Yes. Let's see. Reese, yes, please, Reese, vote, and then we will see. Jared voted twice. Yes, I've deleted Jared's carry on. Oh, Ashton voted try it out, and Reese chose carry on. So it's even again. Okay, all right. I will vote. It's even again because Ashton came in and threw in a vote as well. Okay. Try it out. Everybody try it out. Yeah, try it out. Mr. Pang's final vote. Try it out. All try it out. We'll have a slightly longer session today because we are trying things out. Okay, try it out. Add to all the highlighted words. Only the highlighted words, okay? Add to them. No yays, just try it out quick. I'll give you a few minutes because this is a bit more complicated, okay? Try it out quickly. Everybody, give it a try. Don't be tardy. You learned a new word today. Don't be tardy. Kaylin. Work on this example quickly. Add to the highlighted words. Right, so instructed is a verb. You can add an adverb there. Boys is a noun. You can add some adjectives there. You can even string them up in combination. Gym equipment is a noun. You can also add some adjectives to describe the gym equipment. The room is another word you can use. It's a noun, so you can use adjectives for that. Screeching is a verb, so you can use adverbs there, right? Them refers to the boys. It's a pronoun. You can use adjectives to describe, or you can expand on the them, right? Give more details to them. Shaden, be very careful. The word fearfully applies to instructed. So he's not instructing them fearfully, right? Fearfully means he's full of fear. And the instructor is not full of fear. Be very careful when you're using words that you know exactly what they mean. Otherwise, they'll have the opposite effect. They will change your writing for the worse. So please change fearfully. I don't want you to use that word. He instructed the students, fiercely, perhaps. You might want to use that because he's being very angry and fierce. So fiercely could be a word you could. Ferociously could be words that you could use from the previous times. But fearfully means he is full of fear. And the instructor is not full of fear. Be careful how you use your adverbs. Bulky gym equipment, that works. All right. Herculean refers to strong and extremely large effort. So in this case, you can't use Herculean to describe a room. So please change that as well. Don't use the word Herculean. Screeching furiously at them, he glared menacingly at the anxious boys. Yes, I love the word anxious being used to describe the boys because they are being shouted at, so they're feeling very anxious. Very good. Yeah, the rest of it is good. But be careful of using words that you're not entirely sure of. Okay, so Shaden again, remove Herculean, remove fearfully. Okay, Jan says, he instructed the senior basketball boys. Very good. So additional detail about the students to deposit their needed gym equipment, necessary, right? And Jan says, I wouldn't use the word needed. Their necessary gym equipment or their much needed gym equipment in the sports room. Very good. Screeching furiously at them for being tardy. He glared menacingly at the anxious boys. Very good. Well done, Jan says. A good effort indeed, right? But be very careful about the needed gym equipment. That's kind of like an awkward phrase, okay? So he loudly instructed the boys to deposit their heavy gym equipment. Very good. In the spacious, screeching angrily at them for being tardy, he glared at the timid boys. Very good, Satin. Good try. Very good. Jared, he carefully instructed the boys, right? The boys to deposit their dirty gym equipment. Very good. Screeching furiously at them, he glared at them at the frightened boys. Okay, so at the frightened boys. Very good, Jared. Good try, but be careful of your errors. Okay, be careful of your typing. Jaden Liao, he fiercely instructed, very good, to deposit the used gym equipment, yes, in a spacious room. Very good. Screeching loudly at them for being tardy, he glared menacingly at the cowardly boys. Yes, okay, you could use the word cowardly boys. They're scared, they're not able to stand up to the very fierce instructor. Good. Much needed gym equipment in the sports room. Screeching fiercely at them, he glared menacingly. Very good, chances. That's a much better correction. Good job. Jack said he instructed, no, you don't instruct loudly at, all right? He instructed the skinny boys loudly, right? So he instructed, Jack said, he instructed the skinny boys loudly to deposit their heavy and bulky gym equipment in the dark and dusty room. Screeching angrily at them for being tardy, he glared menacingly at the anxious boys. Good, good, good. A good try, Jack said. Well done. Jaden Lim, he had instructed the 4P monitors to deposit the heavy gym equipment in the closet. In the closet, you changed the room to the closet. Why? Try to keep it to the room and describe the room. Okay. He glared menacingly at the 4 of them. Okay. How did he instruct them, Jaden? Please, add an adverb to describe the instructing process. John, he quickly instructed the mischievous boys to deposit their bulky gym equipment, John, in the huge room. Good. Screeching angrily at them for being tardy, he glared menacingly at the 4 of them. Very good. You included the number as well. The frightened boys. Yes. Menacingly at the frightened boys. Very good. Well done. John, good job. Jaden Lim, good job. But Jaden Lim tried to change some of what I told you too. Jun Xian, strictly instructed the boisterous boys to deposit their bulky gym equipment in a commodious room. Nice. Screeching fiercely at them for being tardy, glared menacingly at the terrified boys. Good, Jun Xian. Good try. Very good. Okay, good, good. Okay, Shaden, he instructed the fearful students, right? Fearfully is an adverb, fearful is an adjective. Students is a noun, so you've got to describe nouns with adjectives and not adverbs. Be very careful there, okay? He fiercely instructed the basketball boys to deposit their new gym equipment in the storage room, screeching fiercely at him for being tardy. Very good. Terrified boys, Charlene, minor error, but very good. Well done. Good job. He instructed the 2 boys. How did he instruct them, Megan Quack, to deposit their heavy gym equipment? Good. In the sports room, good. Screeching fiercely and then from being tardy, glared menacingly at the lazy boys. Yes, okay. Okay, he instructed the basketball teams to deposit. So instead of boys, you change teams to deposit their bulky equipment. How did he instruct them, Kaylin? In the storage room, good. Screeching fiercely and being tardy, glared menacingly at the fearful boys. Okay, good. Good, Kaylin, but how did he instruct them? All right. He instructed the astringently. Now, you don't instruct astringently, my dear. Chun Hong, don't use this word astringently. It's not very accurate, not very suitable in this case. Replace with something else, all right? Astringently is not a good choice of word here. At the puerile boys, puerile, yes, okay, immature, not really very sensible, okay. But again, try to use a different, more accessible word to deposit a bulky gym equipment in the commodious room. Good. Screeching indignantly at them. Very good. Indignantly. He glared menacingly at the comatose lads. Okay, comatose meaning they're very tired. I get the idea, but it's a bit of a stretch here. Maybe just use exhausted or something a bit more accessible. Okay, but good. Instructed. All right, excellent. Please make the corrections and submit them as I am giving you feedback. I know there's a bit of a lag between my instructions and your responses, so I'll give you a couple of seconds, okay? Sishan, yes. Yes, very good. Yes, Sishan, that's good. Okay, instruct fiercely, yes. Okay, Kaylin, got it. Excellent, guys. You're doing very well. We're coming to an end very soon. After I finish add, we'll go into rearrange, which is quite simple. And then we will end today's live streaming session with a question and answer session, okay? Okay. Strictly instructed, yep. Strictly instructed, yes. That's a good alternative, Jaden Lim. Good. All right, so this is mine, right? So he tersely instructed, right? So tersely instructed kind of has this idea of like very, very quick, right? He's very, very short on time. So it's like, do this, do this, do this, do this. That's tersely instructed, right? Do this, then do this, then do this, do this. Quick, rapid fire instructions with very little time in between. So he tersely instructed the nervous boys to deposit their bulky and heavy gym equipment in a cluttered room. All right, so I'm just using very common, accessible words. Be very careful that you're not using too advanced a word, right? That it's kind of too advanced for this particular setting, okay? Screeching impatiently at them for being tardy, he glared menacingly at the cowering group. So cowering is like, oh, you know, they're like kind of like bent over because he's scolding them so harshly. They can't even meet his eyes because they're so scared of him. So cowering, right? So this is my version. Again, I think some of you have done outstanding jobs, even better than me. It's good. All right? Right. So well done, everybody. Good job. Okay, shall we move on? Right, let's move on to the last letter of the acronym STAR. We talked about substitute, where we replaced words with better ones. We talked about takeaway, where we removed repeated words or words that interfered with the flow. And finally, we talked about add, right? Okay, very good, well done. No worries, Charlene, you can leave if you need to, all right? I'll be finishing in the next 5 minutes or so, all right? So thank you for letting me know. Okay, right. So now let's move on to the last one, which is rearrange. I won't ask you to do any activities for this. I'll just show you what it means to rearrange, right? So this was what we got after we did S, T, and A, right? Now I'm going to show you how I can rearrange this to make it even more effective. So notice right here that screeching impatiently is actually a very powerful statement. If this is a new paragraph, I want the word screeching to be in front, right? Because I want that very powerful image of this screaming instructor to be the start of my paragraph. So in order to do that, I need to rearrange the sentences so that I highlight this idea that the instructor is screaming at them. And that's exactly what I do. So I put it up there. Screeching impatiently at the cowering boy. So I move cowering up as well. For being tardy, the ruthless instructor. So I added more details to he, right? Instead of he, I said the ruthless instructor. Glared menacingly at the hapless or the helpless group, okay? The helpless group. He then, now I add in a connector to show sequence, right? He then tersely instructed the nervous boys to deposit their bulky and heavy gym equipment in the cluttered room, okay? So can you notice how I've rearranged the sentences so that it's highlighting the most dramatic part of the action sequence, which is the screaming instructor. So I put him right in front, okay? And then I rearrange everything else so that it flows from there. The screaming instructor, then how the children responded or how the boys responded to him, cowering, helpless, right? And then they nervous, right? They're nervous, they deposit their stuff in the cluttered room, okay? So this is rearrange. And just to show you, right? This was what we started out with, right? He told the boys to put their things in the room. Then he shouted at them for being slow. Then he looked at them angrily. Right? This was the original sentence before it went through S, T, A, and R. Now take a look at the final version. Screeching impatiently at the cowering boys for being tardy, the ruthless instructor glared menacingly at the hapless group. He then tersely instructed the nervous boys to deposit their bulky and heavy gym equipment in the cluttered room. Now, versus the first, won't you agree with me that the second version is so much more colorful, so much more detailed, and so much more effective in carrying the mood of fear and the mood of anger that the instructor has towards these boys, right? It also gives me more information about who he is, about who the boys are, about what they are there to do, right? It's obviously some kind of physical fitness activity. It obviously has to do with an instructor teaching or coaching this group of pupils. They could be a basketball team or something. I can add that in the future lines after this, but just by expanding, so substituting, adding, taking away, and rearranging, I can drastically change the quality of my composition, right? So I like to end today's video by encouraging you to apply show not tell through star to improve your first draft. Okay, so remember, we were talking about this yesterday. We were looking at our composition 3. We are working on this next term, but I want us to get started now so we save quite a lot of time. We've already done our free writing on the topic. If you haven't done so, please go and complete it by today. We've already done our free writing, right? We've done some activity on the rollerblading, right? Adjusting the rollerblading. Describing it, show not tell with the rollerblading. So today, I want you to apply star on your first draft. Or if you haven't written your first draft yet, write your first draft and apply star on it, right? You can apply it in any part or all parts of your first draft. Indicate what you have substituted or added with a different color. So I'm only focusing on substituting and adding today. So you replace certain words, you add certain words. I'm not going to look at rearranging. I'm not going to look at taking away. I just want to look at substituting and adding for today. So as you go through your first draft, do this for me, right? Then submit or resubmit your draft 1 again through Edmodo so that I can have a look at what you have substituted or added. Use a different color, or you can highlight the words that you've substituted in one color, and then you highlight the words that you added in another color. Okay, that's your task for today. So you have until the end of this week before school reopens to finish your draft 1, to finish your free writing on achieving your goal, and to substitute and add in words to your first draft. Okay, you can always ask me questions if you need any additional help, but I'm ending the video here today. If you have any questions, please continue to type in your questions in the YouTube chat group or on WhatsApp, and I'll respond to you as quickly as I can. But otherwise, I think it's quite simple. Remember to finish the show not tell exercise on the rollerblades. Remember to finish your free writing on achieving your goal, and then remember to finish your draft 1 on achieving a goal, which is a composition that is right here. And you'll find this PowerPoint slides attached to the Edmodo assignment on your first draft. I will also attach the video link to the first draft assignment as well. So please try to complete this by tomorrow if you can. I'd like to have a read of your drafts. I won't mark it yet. I won't give you a grade for it yet, but I'd like to see you give it a try. Okay? If nothing else, give me a thumbs up in the chat group to show me that you're good to go, and I will end the session, right? Thumbs up in the group chat. Very good. Excellent. You're very welcome. It was a great pleasure. Okay, excellent. Thank you everybody for participating so actively in today's session. Thank you. your participation really made this so much better and made it so much more than just a one-way lesson. Thank you all for being on this live stream and participating in it so actively. I look forward to our next live stream. I will likely do another one tomorrow, but it's not confirmed. It will really depend on how things develop. There are a lot of things happening right now with COVID-19 and arrangements and the need to call parents. So I will update all of you. All right. So please stay tuned to our usual channels of communication. If you have any questions, if you need extra practice, if you need new resources, let me know. And I will supply them to you as necessary. Okay. If nothing else, then I'll sign off today. I'll see you guys back in school or at our next live stream. All right. Bye.